Hello, grade 12 learners. We back with question 3.3 of the 2018 examination paper. And as you can see, the examiners have once again asked us a question on urbanization. And as you would have guessed by now, it is certainly an important question in the examination paper, and the 2019 paper also spoke about urbanization. Now we have to know what the concept means, and of course, the questions will help us expand on this idea. Now, it's talking about urban, there's it there, and urbanization, the shin. I think I did tell you the last time, it refers to the percentage of the people living in the urban areas. And it speaks about the increasing percentage, right? In other words, the percentage of people living in urban areas is certainly increasing. Now, as more people move into the urban area, it is certainly going to cause problems for the urban areas, problems of unemployment, problems in respect of lack of services, protest action because people don't have places to stay, development of squatter settlements, and the like. And of course, as more people move into the urban areas, it's going to result in urban expansion. That means an increase in the size of the urban area to accommodate the increase in the population. Then from where are these people coming? These people are in the main moving from rural areas into urban areas. And of course, you spoke about rural-urban migration. Right? Rural-urban migration from rural areas into urban areas, and that will result in urbanization. So let's see what kinds of questions the examiners have asked us, and let's see how we could unpack those questions and score generally 15 marks in a question like this. The first question they've asked us is to explain the concept urbanization. We've done that. It's a process whereby an increasing percentage of people live in the urban areas. So if we say that our country is 58% urbanized, that means 58% of our country's population would be living in the urban areas. 58% living in the urban areas. And yes, you are right. That will mean that 42%, that will mean that 42% of the country's population will be still living in the rural areas. So should we add these things up, you must get a perfect score of 100%, more like your mark in geography. All right, so don't forget this, an increasing percentage of people living in the urban areas. We'll talk about urbanization. Right, let's keep moving on and let's see what questions are they asking us on urbanization again. The other questions being asked now, they'll be speaking about the bar graphs. There's our bar graphs, talking about the level and the rate of urbanization. The level and the rate of urbanization. Now, let's just quickly look at the diagram, our bar graph. There's the rate. The rate is certainly increasing. Over the years, the rate of urbanization is certainly increasing, which means that more people are moving from rural areas into urban areas. More people are moving from rural areas into urban areas. And this, of course, influences the level of urbanization. So as our rate increases, the areas become more urbanized. So our country is quite urbanized. In 2016, it's over 60% urbanized. Right? So here we're looking at the rate of urbanization. And of course, as you can see, the rate of urbanization is certainly increasing. And because the rate is increasing, it is certainly going to have an impact on the level of urbanization. As more people make the way from rural areas to urban areas, our urban areas, our country is going to achieve a higher level of urbanization. And your answer speaks nothing more than that. As the rate of urbanization increases, so too will the level of urbanization. So the level of urbanization is dependent upon the rate of urbanization. And or you could have said it is directly proportional to each other. As the rate increases, the level of urbanization increases. Right? Let's keep moving on. Take our next question, and it's question 3.3, sorry. It talks about looking at those graphs, showing us the level and rate of urbanization in our country. Discuss two physical factors in the rural areas that may have contributed to the rate of urbanization. In other words, give two physical reasons why people may have left rural areas, right? And again, it's physical factors. Give physical factors why people may have left our rural area. And of course, says discuss. You must write a small story about it. Not too much, but maybe 2 or 3 lines on each factor. 2 marks each one. And as you can see, for example, we're speaking about there's a higher frequency of drought in rural areas. So when there's drought, the crops cannot grow, people have no work, there's food insecurity, and therefore they would now leave our rural areas and move to the urban area. That'll score you 2 marks, right? Don't just say drought. Likewise, for 2 marks more, there's a possibility of flooding. The floods destroy our crops. They will drown our livestock. Again, people become unemployed. There will be food insecurity. And for that reason, people are going to leave rural areas and move into the urban area. There's it again. They're moving into urban areas. That's your 4-mark question. Soil erosion being a physical factor. Soil erosion. The erosion is poor. The soil is poor. The soil is infertile. As a result, the crops are not able to grow well. Because the soil is poor, your natural vegetation is poor. Your livestock is unable to get sufficient food. And that means production is going to decrease. And as long as production decreases, there'll be unemployment. There'll be food insecurity. And again, people are leaving the rural areas. There's a bit. People are leaving the rural areas. Right? Soil's becoming poor. The areas that are infertile will be now increasing in size. And the concept we use there is desertification, becoming dry and barren, and that can't be used by farmers productively. All right. They've given us stock and crop diseases and pests. I'm not certain this is a physical factor. It's more a human factor, but we can speak around it here. But again, stock and the crop diseases are going to decrease. Again, production, crop will die, stock will die. But you 4 marks, you've got your physical factors. There's it here. You've got plenty of physical factors that you can speak about in the question like that. Again, you will bring these factors into food insecurity in module 4. Or you can take from module 4 to be able to answer questions here. You can take these factors also apply to the agricultural sector that falls in our country's economy, the negative factors. Those factors can certainly come in here. Right. The next question we're looking at, urbanization being an important question, question 334. So let's see what kinds of questions the question 334 is asking us. And it says, a paragraph of 8 lines. Remember, you must score our marks here, discussing the reasons, right? 4 reasons. The reasons why the rate and the level of urbanization remains quite high has led to increased protest action, protest against service delivery. Now, we spoke earlier, we said as more people are moving into the rural areas, leaving rural areas and moving into the urban areas, it is certainly going to have a negative impact on the urban areas in terms of space, in terms of housing, in terms of employment, in terms of service delivery, be it hospitals, clinics, schools, transport, and the like. And people are now going to protest to demonstrate towards the municipality and or the government their anger and the fact the government must now provide these kinds of things. The question, why has it led to an increased protest action? There you can see there. Again, a paragraph, a few stories on each one, 2 marks there. There's an increased demand for housing. There's an increased demand for housing. Because people don't have housing, proper low-cost homes, people will now start living in informal settlements, which we spoke about in question number in module 3 as well. So informal settlements. And then the police will go to the area and want to demolish these things. And people are going to go and protest again because houses are going to be demolished. So that too, as you can see here, it talks about somewhere here. It talks about there's it there. Right? Protest action due to forced removals and demolition of informal settlements, which leaves people without shelters. So there you got your 4 marks in a question like that. We want 4 marks more. There's a lack of services. There's a lack of services. Electricity. We spoke about the illegal connections that people are involved in. Lack of water, lack of sanitation, people living in informal settlements. And people are unhappy about this. And protest action will now take place. Right? Services not properly maintained, and therefore lifestyle begins to deteriorate. That too can come in there. Unemployment is going to increase. There's it there. Unemployment is increasing because you have more people making the way to the urban areas. And of course, all these people can't find work in urban areas, and that leaves people frustrated, and they now want to vent their anger against the municipality, against the government through protest action. And sometimes they become violent and start damaging existing infrastructure, like we have seen in our areas recently. Again, increased demand for clinics, hospitals, for transport. There's no place in schools, high population, right? So there's the issue of nepotism, which means favoritism, right? The government is favoring certain people. And there's corruption, and people now go and protest against this corruption by the officials of the government. So again, an important question, this question on urbanization. It is certainly a must from what we know in the examinations. So go back and revise. Again, the question urbanization, and boys and girls, do have a pleasant day, and we're going to move again when I speak to you in the next time that I see you. I'll be speaking to question number 3.4 of the 2018 examination paper. Thank you.